So settling into child's pose and taking a moment to just feel your body connecting to the ground beneath you. So feeling the shins pressing into your mat. Feeling your forehead connect to your mat, or maybe the forehead connects to a block. And just allowing your body to settle. Good morning, Mindy and Sandy, welcome. We're just settling into child's pose. Give yourself a minute here to just feel your body in your space. Softening the neck and the shoulders. Unclenching the jaw. Feel the rounding of the spine in this position from the tailbone up through the neck. And then bring your attention to your breath. Slow breath in. Slow breath out. Slow breath in. Slow breath out. And then go ahead and bump your hips over to the left just a little bit and reach your arms over to the right a little bit more. So just walking the fingertips over to the right and finding a little bit of side body stretch. Continue with your slow, even breath. One more breath in. One more breath out. Bring the fingertips back through center. And bump the hips in the opposite direction. Walk the fingertips to the left. So hips move a little bit to the right. Slow breath in. Slow breath out. Walk your fingertips back through center. And from here, glide forward to hands and knees. And as you exhale, round the spine. And inhale to arch. Exhale and round. Here, unplug. Hi, I'm still here. Sorry. The computer just went out, so I switched. We're just moving through some cat and cow stretches. Go ahead and plug that in. We'll go plug this one in. And then bring your spine to neutral. And we're going to move into threading the needle. So slide your left hand under your face, open your right arm up to the ceiling. And as you exhale, thread the right arm under the left arm. Yeah. And so just opening up the space between the shoulder blades. Taking a couple of breaths in and out here. And then bring the spine back through center, coming back to hands and knees, and we'll switch sides. So now the other hand opens up to the ceiling, left arm comes up, and then thread the left arm under the right arm. And if you did the other side, just switch sides. So finding that threading of the needle, that space opening up between the shoulder blades. Good, breathe into that, any tightness, any discomfort that comes up between the shoulder blades, the neck. One more breath in. One more breath out. Good, come back through hands and knees. Exhale, round the spine. Inhale, arch. And in the next couple of breaths, start to make your way back into your first downward facing dog. So tucking the toes, reaching the hips up and back. Good. So as you come into your first downward facing dog, you can move the hips from side to side, pedaling the feet. And really spread your fingers wide here and find space around the shoulders and the neck. One more breath in. One more breath out. Good. Go ahead and start to move your feet to your hands. Yeah. Okay, coming into a standing forward fold at the top of the mat. And take your feet a little bit wider, soften the knees, and let your upper body just drape forward. Good. coming into a standing forward fold here. Good. Really feel the feet plug. Here, guys. Sorry about the technical difficulties. On your next breath in, lengthen your spine. And as you exhale, fold forward. Good. Inhale, rise up to standing, arms extending upward. Exhale, hands to your heart. Good. We're just going to move into some sun salutations. Inhale, arms extend upward. Exhale, fold forward. Really nice. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands to the heart. Good. Inhale, arms extend upward. We're going to add a side bend in here. Grab your left wrist, stretch up and over to the right. Good. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Inhale through center. And switch sides up and over to the left. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale through center. Exhale, fold forward all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise up to standing. Exhale, hands to the heart. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, arms come up. Side bend to the right, up and over. Inhale through center. Side bend to the left. Inhale through center. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen the spine, come all the way up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Good. This time we'll move on. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. And as you exhale, come into downward facing dog. So hands come down, feet step back, downward facing dog. So you can stay in down dog just as you are, breathing here. Or if you want, you can glide forward into plank pose. And as you exhale, lower all the way down onto the belly. Inhale, lengthen, cobra or up dog if you feel ready for up dog. And come back to downward facing dog. So we all meet in downward facing dog when you're ready. Good. From downward facing dog, take another breath in and another breath out. Look forward between your hands, move your feet to your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Inhale. Inhale, rise up to standing. Exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale, arms extend upward. Exhale, fold forward. All the way down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, downward facing dog. So from here, we're all gonna glide forward into plank and then lower down onto your belly. So we're just gonna do a little quad stretch here. So from the belly, laying all the way down, go ahead and rest your forehead on your right forearm. So your right forearm is just on the ground and you're resting your head. And then bend your left leg and reach back with your left hand and see if you can catch your foot or your ankle. Yeah. And then press your left hip towards the ground. So when you press your left hip into the ground and you're laying on the ground here, you should feel a really nice deep stretch in the belly of your left quadricep. So just tapping into that muscle. Good. One more breath here. Release the left leg. And then switch to rest your forehead on your left forearm. Bend your right leg and reach back with your right hand. See if you can find your right foot. Notice if the knees are pulling apart and keep the inseam of the knees glued together and then gently press your right hip down. This is just about the quadricep. Good. One more breath in. One more breath out. Good. Release the right leg. Inhale, lengthen and lift just the upper body, low cobra here, just toning the back. And as you exhale, we're gonna make our way back to down dog, but if you wanna come through child's pose or hands and knees, go ahead and do that. Eventually, we stretch back to down dog. Good, take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. From here, lift your right leg up into the air. And bend your right knee. Let your right hip open if that feels okay. But as you do that, continue to press through your right hand. Yeah. So you're opening up the right side of the body. And then look forward toward your hands and step your right foot to the outside of your right hand. Good. And stay here. So it's a lizard pose, but the back knee is lifted. And we're going to stay really active here. So the right foot is on the outside of the right hand. And I want you to squeeze the right inside of your knee towards the outside of your right shoulder. So it's hugging. So that whole inseam of the leg, that adductor muscle is really working here. So the right inner thigh hugs the outside of the right shoulder. And then notice if your left leg has stopped participating in the pose. And if it has, think about lifting your left inner thigh toward the ceiling. Okay, just 2 more breaths here. Really strong legs. So it's strengthening and stretching at the same time. One more deep breath in. Exhale, just step back to downward facing dog. Option to stay in downward facing dog or move yourself through a version of chaturanga if you want to. On your own if you're doing that. Move with your breath, slow and steady. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. From here, lift your left leg up into the air. Bend your left knee, open up your left hip. Nice. Nice. As the left hip opens up, press into your left hand a little bit more. Keep the shoulders level. And then step the left foot to the outside of the left hand for that lizard pose. So set yourself up so you feel like you can control this posture. Left inner thigh squeezes onto the left outer shoulder. Right inner thigh reaches toward the ceiling. And maybe even feel the lower belly contract and lift in. 3 breaths here. One more breath in. One more breath out. Hands press into the ground. Step the left foot back. Downward facing dog. Again, option to hang in down dog. Take a child's pose or move yourself through a slow, even chaturanga. Really nice. Meeting back in downward facing dog for one more breath. And then turn your gaze toward your hands. Move your feet to your hands. Inhale, find a halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Inhale, rise up to standing all the way up. And exhale, hands to your heart. Moving on from here. Inhale, arms extend upward. Exhale, fold forward. Good. From here, we're going to step the right foot back for warrior one. So stepping the right foot way back, turn the right toes out towards the side of your mat. So out towards about 2 o'clock. Left leg bends nice and deep. When you're ready, arms come up. So we start with our arms extended. Warrior one. Breathing here. Good. Deep bend in that left leg. Really press the outside of the right foot down. Good. Soften your shoulders. Steady your gaze. Slow breath in. Slow breath out. One more breath in. One more breath out. Take the hands behind the back, interlace them. Inhale, lift the chest. And as you exhale, lengthen your upper body forward. So you're just going to fold forward, either hovering over that left thigh or folding to the inside of the left thigh. Again, notice as you fold forward, if the left knee wants to open up to the left, keep pulling it in. Keep working those adductor muscles on the inner thighs. We've got one more breath in. One more breath out. And then release the hands down to the ground. Straighten your front leg. We're coming into pyramid pose. So pyramid is like you're doing a triangle with your legs. Upper body is folding over the left thigh here. Hands are on blocks or the ground. If you want to hop your back leg in a little bit to make the stance shorter, you can do that. And then work to level your hips a little bit. So with the right leg in the back, you're going to want to draw your right hip forward, left hip back. Yeah, breathing here, lengthening over the left thigh, spine is long. Hands on blocks are a great option here. Just 2 more breaths. One more breath in. One more breath out. Good. From here, wiggle your right foot a little bit further behind you, coming into a lunge. So the right heel will stay lifted, right toes on the ground, hands stay on the ground. So coming back into a lunge. And from here, right fingertips will stay down, left arm opens up. So sometimes we call this a dragon twist, or just a low lunge with an open arm twist. Left arm up, right fingertips down. And maybe turn your gaze up towards the ceiling. And again, find that connection to your inner thighs. So left leg is bent deep, but right inner thigh can reach toward the ceiling here as well. One more big breath in. Exhale, both hands come down. We're gonna walk the hands to the right. We're pivoting into a straddle. You're gonna face the right side. Legs are wide. Yeah. So coming into a straddle, feet are nice and wide. Feet are parallel, walk the hands under the legs. And take a couple of breaths here. One more big breath in. Big breath out. And inhale, find a halfway lift. Bring your hands to your hips, come all the way up to standing. So you're still facing the side of the mat, the feet are still wide. And now you're just gonna turn your toes out to the side a little bit. So we're gonna come into a horse stance. So the toes are turned out to the corners of your mat. And we're just gonna bend the knees. So letting the tailbone drop down. So it's all about the inner thighs here, right? Knees press back, tailbone lengthens down. Your feet are pressing into the ground. You're connecting to your heels. Bring your hands to your heart. And let's just take 3 breaths here. Strengthening and toning the inside or the inseam of your legs. Together here, one more. Slow breath in. Slow breath out. Good. Press into your heels, straighten the legs. Fold your upper body forward. We're just going to reverse that whole series. So I'm going to walk my hands toward my right foot. And now I'm in a low lunge facing the back of my mat. Open the right arm to the ceiling. And we're in that dragon twist, or that low lunge, open arm twist. With the right arm up, left arm down. Left inner thigh lifts toward your ceiling. Right leg is bent nice and deep. One more big breath in. Exhale, right hand comes down. Straighten your right leg. So now we're in pyramid pose, facing the back of your mat. So my right leg is my front leg, and I'm facing the back of my mat. Upper body's folding over the right thigh, lengthening over the right thigh. Okay, so you would maybe draw your right hip back and your left hip forward. We're gonna be here for a couple of breaths. I'm gonna go off the camera for just about 30 seconds to adjust my computer, and then I'll be back. One more breath in. One more breath out. That's better. Good. From pyramid pose, Wiggle your left toes back a little bit further, and we'll come into warrior one facing the back of the mat. Okay, so the stance just gets a little bit longer. Right leg is bent deep, outside of the left foot presses down. We'll start with arms extended. So you're facing the back of your mat. Right leg is your front leg. One more big breath in with arms extended. And as you exhale, sweep the arms behind your back, interlace them, lift the chest, and then lengthen your upper body forward for humble warrior. Breathing in, breathing out. One more breath in. One more breath out. Good. Let your hands come down to the mat. Walk them back to the left. We're going to revisit our straddle. This time we'll add a twist. So coming up onto your fingertips, or if you had your blocks nearby, you could come hands on blocks. Left hand stays down, right arm opens up to the ceiling. So it's just a straddle with a upper body rotation. One more big breath in, broaden across the chest, and right hand comes down. We'll switch sides. Left arm opens toward the ceiling or the sky. Good, broaden across the chest, turn your gaze upward, and release all the way down. And it might feel good to bend one knee and then the other. Maybe glide a little bit from side to side. One more cycle of breath. Maybe again, moving the hips from side to side if that feels good. And then coming back through center, walk the hands to the top of the mat and step back for downward facing dog. So again, you have the option of holding your down dog, taking a couple of breaths, a child's pose, or moving yourself through a variation of chaturanga if you feel like you need a little more movement here. You need to build more heat. We meet back in downward facing dog. One more breath in. One more breath out. Look forward between your hands. Move your feet to your hands. We'll come into a standing forward fold at the top of the mat. So knees are soft. Feet are a little bit wider than hip width. Reach down, grab your peace fingers, or grab your big toes with your peace fingers and your thumb. Inhale, lengthen the spine. And as you exhale, bend your elbows and just fold your upper body or your belly to your thighs. And just take about 5 breaths here, letting the head hang. Feeling the weight of the head stretch and release the neck. Two more breaths. One more breath in. One more breath out. Inhale, lengthen the spine, halfway lift. Bring your hands to your hips. Come all the way up, standing. So I'm going to turn to face you, but you can stay facing the front of your mat. We're going to continue with a little bit more inner thigh work. So feet are going to come a little bit wider than hips width. I'm going to come into goddess squat. Now, so you can come into goddess squat without blocks. I actually am a big fan of using your blocks. So if you have one or two blocks, you can put it underneath you. We're going to bring the hands to the heart. And from here, just squat all the way down. So it's not the horse squat, but it's actually coming all the way down. So I'm going to just sit. I can do one block here. And I'm going to use my elbows to press into my inner thighs. And then I'm going to press my inner thighs into my elbows. So I'm really connecting to my core here. My heels are pressing down. My elbows are pressing into my inner thighs. My inner thighs are squeezing my elbows, which is helping me connect to my lower belly here. Let's just take 3 more breaths here. So it's an active stretch. We're not just sinking into our hip joint. We're actively pressing the heels into the ground, pressing the inner thighs into the elbows, pressing the elbows into the inner thighs. One more big breath in. Exhale, we'll come back to our standing forward fold. So slowly straightening the legs, bringing them a little bit closer. And you can either revisit grabbing onto the big toes, or maybe now you want to slide your whole hand under your foot. So bringing the toes all the way up to the wrists and bending the elbows, folding your upper body to your thighs. Okay, so the knees can be bent here. Let's take one more big breath in. One more big breath out. Release your hands if you're stepping onto them. Lengthen your spine, hands to your hips, come all the way back up. And just take a moment here as you feel your feet press into the ground and the crown of your head reach up to the ceiling. We're going to move into a balancing hip stretch. So hands come to the heart, knees bend. And we're just going to cross the right ankle on top of the left thigh. So you can stay right here in this like one-legged chair, like figure 4. Or you can start to fold your upper body forward. Okay, maybe the hands come to the ground or to blocks, or if you're in your living room and you have a couch nearby or a chair, you're absolutely encouraged to use those things around you. Okay, if you've folded forward and you want to start to straighten the left leg a little bit, you can go there. And really let this get into the outside of the right hip. Okay, you can keep the hands on the ground, or you can play around with your balance. Maybe you hold on to your left shin or ankle and kind of just accept that your foot's going to wobble here. Find something you can look at that's not going to move. Spot on the ground. And one more breath in. One more breath out. And start to find a halfway lift. And then slowly bring yourself all the way back up. And release that right leg. Take a moment to shake it out. And when you're ready, we'll switch sides. So starting with like a little bit of chair pose, and then crossing the left ankle on top, pressing the hips back, and then deciding whether you want to just stay here in a one-legged chair or figure four, or whether you want to reach for the ground and maybe start to straighten that the right leg, folding forward. Okay. So you choose the best version of this pose for you. You can keep it in an active stretch, or you can move it into a balance. You decide. Wherever you're at, one more cycle of breath, slow and steady. Start with a halfway lift as you start to move out to prevent any dizziness from coming up too fast. And then start to make your way back, standing. Unhook the top leg and take a moment to just feel yourself upright, feet on the ground. Good. At the top of your mat, inhale, reach your arms toward the ceiling, and exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, downward facing dog. You can stay in downward facing dog, or you can move yourself through a chaturanga if you want. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Right leg lifts up. And when you're ready, slide your right knee between your hands for half pigeon. Okay, so if half pigeon doesn't feel good to you, for half pigeon, the left leg is going to go back straight. Right knee is bent. You can always bend that back leg and come into like a Z pose here. And just lengthen your upper body forward. Okay, so just looking to get a little bit more into the outer hip now. Okay, so either half pigeon or Z pose. Once you have yourself set up, you're welcome to lengthen your upper body forward a little bit. You will be here about 5 to 7 breaths. See if you can allow yourself to stay with the sensations that come up in your body here. So rather than tuning out as the practice gets quiet and more grounded, see if you can tune in. What part of your body can you find more ease in here? Maybe it's your eyelids, your jaw. Maybe it's the space between the shoulder blades. Maybe it's the belly. One more slow breath in. Slow breath out. Take your time coming out of this posture. Either make your way into downward facing dog to shake out the leg, or you can consider just coming back to hands and knees if that does it for you. When you're ready, we'll slide the left knee forward, either for half pigeon, or if you did Z pose or another outer hip stretch on the other side, you'll just switch sides. Take your time to set yourself up with any props that you need to support your body so that you can really settle in here for about a minute or a minute and a half. And then as you fold into your posture, as you settle, consider letting your eyes close. And then use your slow, even breath to anchor you and to calm you. Take 2 more breaths here. Start to make your way out of whichever hip stretch you took. Take the time to bring yourself back to neutral. And then we'll meet in child's pose. So maybe the knees come together in this child's pose. Maybe it's a little bit more like seed. And just fold your body in like a little rock. And take a moment to just settle. And take 3 more breaths in your child's pose or your seed pose. And then gently make your way onto your back. Take your time. Take your block or your prop that you have with you and set yourself up for a supported bridge. So a block or folded blanket or a pillow under the base of your spine. Set yourself up for a supported bridge. So legs are bent. Block is just supporting the weight of your pelvis. Allow your head to be heavy. And feel your shoulders resting on the ground. Feel the weight of your hips supported by whatever it is that's underneath you. Feel the connection of your feet to the ground. You can stay as you are, or you can draw your right knee in toward your chest and just interlace your hands on your right shin or knee. And then straighten the left leg, resting the left heel on the ground. Okay, so the left leg, it will be heavy on the ground. And this is just about opening up that left hip flexor, so the front of the left hip. We work the inseam of the body. We got the outer hip. We got the back of the body with our forward folding. And now we release the front of the hips while we're on our back. Your left leg is extended. Bring the left knee in and switch sides. So right leg extends, left knee draws in. So the left knee is, you're just kind of hanging on to it. You don't even have to hold on to it. It's not about the left leg. This is really about the front of the right hip here. Your right leg is extended. Go ahead and bring both knees in. Maybe extend the feet up to the ceiling for just a few breaths. Your legs are extended. Bring your feet back, down to the ground. Push your feet into the ground. Lift your hips, remove your block or your prop. Draw your knees in toward your chest and just gently circle or rock side to side, massaging the lower back against the ground again. You're ready. Let your knees drop over to one side. So just pick a side to start with and find a spinal twist. Settle in for a couple of breaths here in your spinal twist. Whichever way your knees are, bringing them back through center. And take your spinal twist in the opposite direction. Bring your knees back to center. And pick a place to finish your practice today. Either corpse pose, lying on your back, any sort of supported posture, or feel free to come up for seated meditation. I don't know if you can hear it through the computer, but there's an owl. It's doing this like very rhythmic hoot that is so soothing. So maybe if you come into stillness, into quiet, and listen, you can hear the owl. As you settle into stillness, allow your mind's eye to do one last scan through your body. And just feel your body settle. Feel your body in this space, in this moment. Your next couple of breaths, begin to bring a little bit of movement back into your body. Take your time. When you're ready, bring yourself back up to seated. We finish our class together, bringing our hands together at our heart. Together we fold forward, sealing in your yoga practice. Namaste.